It's the battle before the battle, and it could decide who gets home ice. Kings versus Oilers tonight. That and more on this edition of Locked On LA Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily podcast on the Los Angeles Kings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Kings fans, welcome to Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On LA Kings your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, and I am told Amazon Fire TV. I'm Eddie Garcia, your host of Locked On LA Kings. I've worked in sports media for the past 30 years, also co-host of Locked On NHL Game Night, a nightly podcast and YouTube show wrapping up the night in the NHL. New episode is out right now, and a passionate LA Kings fan for over 30 years. The LA Kings get set to play game number 80 of the 82-game NHL regular season, but this one could go a long way in not only determining where the Kings and Oilers start their fourth straight postseason series against one another, but it could ultimately decide who wins that series. Plus, this is a chance for the LA Kings to possibly set a tone for their upcoming series against the Oilers. Let's start with where we are in the playoff standings. We know the Golden Knights and the Kings are all, and the Oilers are all in the playoffs. They've all clinched. Golden Knights have won the division. It's now between the Kings and Oilers, who finishes second, who finishes third, and of course, who gets home ice advantage in that first round of the playoffs. The Kings have 101 points. The Oilers have 99 thanks to a win on Sunday. So the Kings obviously have the advantage. Also, LA owns the tiebreaker, which is regulation wins. The Kings have 41. The Oilers have 35. So the Oilers cannot catch LA in that department. And that means the Oilers can't just be tied with the Kings. They have to be ahead of the Kings at the end of the season as far as points go. So let's obviously start with the biggest part of this rivalry matchup tonight, and that is the battle, the chase for home ice advantage. Now, traditionally in the NHL playoffs, home ice advantage can be hit and miss. Sometimes it hardly seems like any advantage of all. That said, there is no doubt that this season for the LA Kings, a team that has the best home ice winning percentage in the NHL, home ice matters. Now, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's the only way the Kings can win a series against the Oilers, but I think particularly this season, I believe it is a significant advantage if the Kings can get home ice. 31, 5-4 at home this season. That is a franchise record for home wins. No Kings team ever has had more home wins. The Kings are tied with the Carolina Hurricanes for the most home wins in the entire NHL. And as I said, they have the best home ice winning percentage in the entire NHL. So this is not just your typical, we want to play at home so we can get the last change and because we want our fans behind us a little bit more, right? Potentially. No, this is a real advantage for the Kings this season. Now, the Kings have beaten the best of the best on home ice this season, a 14-1 record against current teams that are in the top three of each division. They're 2-0 at home against the Oilers. And if they get home ice advantage against Edmonton, that is certainly something that they haven't had over the last three playoff matchups. So it is something different. And of course, if the Kings were to win all of their home games with home ice advantage, they win the series. And I actually think that is a possibility. Now, also what makes this game important, and the Kings, look, they can do it tonight. If they beat the Oilers tonight, they clinch home ice advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Now, if the Kings lose, they can still win home ice if they get a win in their final two games against either Seattle on the road on Tuesday or the home finale against the Flames, the wildfire rescheduled game on Thursday. But there are many reasons why I think the Kings would like to do it tonight. First, it sends a bit of a message to the Oilers that for the upcoming series, if the Kings, in fact, need to win a road game, they could do it. The previous road game against the Oilers this year is the one game the Kings have lost against Edmonton so far this season. And we know the Kings aren't great on the road, 15, 19, and 5 this season away from home. So winning a road game against the Oilers does tell you, yes, we can win on the road. And I say it's a bit of a message It's because of the Oilers lineup, which we'll get into in a minute. Now, if you're Ed and Brea, you will point out that the Kings have only won 2 of the 8 home games against the Oilers in the playoffs over the last 3 seasons. I honestly don't care. This Kings team is not those Kings teams, especially at home, and it's not close. And I don't believe what one team does against another in previous years matters. That's what I believe. You may not believe that. You may believe that the Oilers have some sort of curse over us or something. I don't believe in that stuff. And I get it. Some people do. One of my favorite quotes from a hockey broadcaster, Sam Rosen, I'll change it a little bit for this discussion, but his quote was, "History tells you what has happened, not what will happen." This is not the same Kings team that has faced those Oilers teams. And we'll talk about this more when we get into actually breaking down the playoff matchup to come. But Darcy Kemper didn't play in any of those games previously. Neither did Andrei Kuzmenko or Warren Fogle or Joel Edmondson or Tanner Janot if he can play. Alex Turcotte, Samuel Hellenius, Brant Clark. Those guys weren't a part of any of those other teams. And I think you could certainly argue Quentin Byfield is not the same player he was in the previous years he was available in that matchup. So would the Oilers like to get home ice advantage in the series against the Kings? Yeah, probably they would. But I certainly don't think they care about it as much as the Kings do. And certainly there are other reasons that factor into that as well, as far as the health of their team. They're trying to get healthy for the playoffs. And I think after 3 straight playoff wins over the Kings, the Oilers are pretty confident, right, that they could still do it again. But again, LA having home ice advantage, it's an obvious difference than the 3 previous meetings. And hopefully, if the Kings do get home ice, it will result in a different outcome. Now, if you have not been paying attention to what's been going on with the Oilers, they are unbelievably banged up. They are missing the NHL's leading goal scorer, likely the MVP of the league this year in Leon Draisaitl. He's not playing until at least the playoffs, and that's not guaranteed either. And if he does play, I don't think he's going to be at 100%. The Oilers just lost a very important defenseman, Mattias Ekholm, for them. He is definitely ruled out of the first round against LA. He may not play again this season. And there are other important pieces as well for the Oilers. Their goalie, Stuart Skinner, just came back from an injury. And there is Connor McDavid as well, not going to play in tonight's game. They want to rest him up for the playoffs, they say. He's also coming off a recent injury. I'm frankly shocked they played him at all in these past couple of games where he looked good. But why risk him in these games? Like I said, I think home ice matters for the Kings. I understand them trying to go after it. I don't think it's as big of a deal for the Oilers, especially when you weigh the fact of if McDavid gets hurt again in these last final games, it doesn't matter if they have home ice. They're not going to go anywhere without that guy. So it makes sense to me that they would do this. I'm not surprised. As for the injuries involved in the Kings, Drew Doughty reportedly will be in the Kings lineup tonight after missing the last, 3 or 4 games. Took the morning skate, apparently said he felt good, and I am not surprised to see him in the lineup. Drew loves to play and wants to play in these big games. However, Joel Edmondson did not make the trip to Edmonton, so he will not be in the Kings lineup. So this is a pretty big opportunity for the Kings, frankly, against the Oilers B squad, to get it done tonight. Take advantage of the opportunity in front of you and get it done now. Plus, if the Kings clinch tonight, then they can rest as many players as they want to over the final 2 games. There is no downside to not securing home ice advantage in the first round with a win tonight. Let's get it out of the way. Now, if the Kings were to lose, certainly we'd hate to see that, but I don't think that would have any carryover into the playoffs. And the Kings still, again, have an opportunity to get home ice if, in fact, they were to lose tonight. And let's be honest, I know it's easy to say no Connor McDavid, no Leon Draisaitl, some other key players as well. This should be an easy win. Well, the Oilers just won with basically their B squad. It did include Connor McDavid on Sunday in Winnipeg against the top team in the NHL. So it's not like this team's going to just lay down for the Kings. Do the Kings have an advantage with the lineup? Yes, they do. But they are on the road. We've seen the Kings not be great on the road this year. The Kings have lost to the Sharks on the road this year. So let's just keep that in mind. But again, it's a big opportunity for the Kings to get it done now and send a little bit of a message, beating the Oilers on the road, but let's get it done tonight and secure home ice, which I think is a huge factor for the Kings. And then they can rest up for the next couple of games if they want to. All right, let us look into how the LA Kings are different with Andrei Kuzmenko. We'll do that next here on Locked On LA Kings, your team every day. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives business flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. If you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who will deliver incredible results. Posting a job is free and simple, and within a day, you'll have multiple qualified candidates to choose from. Instead of hiring full-time, Upwork helps find affordable top-tier freelancers to scale your business efficiently. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That is Upwork.com, 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 to connect with top talent and grow your business today. There is one key piece the LA Kings did not have in any of their three previous meetings with Edmonton, and that would be forward Andrei Kuzmenko. Now, I wanted to see, with Kuzmenko in mind, which players have been the most impactful statistically of all the players acquired at the trade deadline. So, the number one player who was moved at the deadline was Mikko Rantanen, the biggest name by far, going from the Carolina Hurricanes to the Dallas Stars. And statistically, he has been the most impactful of any player moved at the deadline. For Mikko Rantanen, 18 games in Dallas, he's got 17 points, 5 goals, and 12 assists. Right behind him is Andrei Kuzmenko. Kuzmenko has played one more game than Rantanen, but he has 16 points to Rantanen 17. Kuzmenko has 5 goals, like Rantanen, with 11 assists, one less than Mikko Rantanen. So again, the biggest name moved at the deadline, without question, Mikko Rantanen, and Andrei Kuzmenko is right there with him, just 1 point behind him, although one more game played. The next couple of players are certainly name players. Brock Nelson, traded from the Islanders to the Avalanche, 18 games for him. He's got 13 points, 3 less than Kuzmenko. He's got 6 goals and 7 assists. And Taylor Hall, traded from Chicago to Carolina, former MVP of the league, 15 games for him. He's got 7 goals and 5 assists for 12 points. So of those players, clearly the name that doesn't belong would be Andrei Kuzmenko, but he has been as impactful as any player moved at the trade deadline from a statistical standpoint. So when you look at the Kings making a move at the deadline for an impactful player, they certainly have nailed it with Andrei Kuzmenko. Plus, they didn't give up quite the same amount that the Dallas Stars did, which was, I believe it was a player and multiple first-round picks, and I think multiple third-round picks, where the Kings gave up a third-round pick. So advantage Kings in many ways there. One more for Kuzmenko. This was according to Connor Wary, who I saw on X. He is at Be Wary of Blake. Andrei Kuzmenko is the first Kings player this season to have 12 points in a 7-game span. Only one player did it for the Kings last season, and that was Kevin Fiala. Also, since Kuzmenko was out at the deadline, no team in the NHL has more points than the LA Kings, 30 points in 19 games. The next closest team is the St. Louis Blues with 28 points in 18 games. Since the deadline, the Kings have improved in every team statistical area of note. Points per game before Kuzmenko, 1.18, after 1.58. Goals per game on average before Kuzmenko, 2.82. Now it's 3.63. Goals against per game before Kuzmenko, 2.70, after 1.79. Power play before Kuzmenko was at 15.1%. It's now at 22.6%. Penalty kill, the Kings were 81.1% before Kuzmenko. It's now 83.6%. And shot differential per game, the Kings were at 2.28 before Kuzmenko. It's now 3.21. Now, I'm not cherry picking stats here. These are major meat and potatoes team stats. And it's not all because of Andrei Kuzmenko. For example, he doesn't play on the penalty kill, and it's better. But it does show you a couple of things. Number one, the Kuzmenko effect that he's had on the overall lineup and how players, especially, of course, the forward group, is now slotted, which is better. And the Kings are just playing their best hockey of the season at the right time going into the playoffs. So Andrei Kuzmenko has obviously had a great impact positively so far on the LA Kings. So a few other things to discuss about the Kings-Oilers matchup. And one of the biggest focuses in the upcoming series will be the power play for both teams. And there really hasn't been enough of a sample size head-to-head, really, to get a good read on if that Kings new look penalty kill is an improvement against that Oilers power play. Now, statistically, the Oilers power play this year, not quite as good as it's been over the past 3 years, but it's still good. Now, 3 years ago, the Oilers penalty power play was ranked third in the NHL. Year after that, it was ranked number 1. Last year, it was 4th. This year, 9th in the NHL. So it's still top 10, but not quite at the level that it has been recently. So, but the 3 meetings between the Kings and Oilers this year, Edmonton is 1 for 5 on the power play. The Kings are 0 for 6. The Kings power play, though, since the trade deadline has been better than the Oilers since the deadline. 19 games, Kings power play has 12 power play goals, a power play percentage of 22.6%. In 17 games, the Oilers have 10 power play goals for 19.2%. Again, the Oilers have had some injury issues that has affected their numbers to an extent, but the numbers are what the numbers are. I will be interested to see how the return of Drew Doughty affects the Kings power play units. I am hoping Drew is not back on the number 1 unit tonight, although I fear he will be. With Doughty out, the Kings were going with a 5-forward lineup. In place of Doughty, it was Quinton Byfield. Now, in the 3 games since the Kings have gone with that 5-forward lineup, the number 1 power play unit, the Kings power play is at 30.8%, 4 goals in 13 power play opportunities. Again, that's a very small sample size, but the eye test and the numbers say it is pretty much significantly better since they've gone to that 5-forward power play unit. So I say stick with it until it gives you a reason to not use it. Put Drew Doughty on the 2nd power play unit, which will make that unit better as well. Maybe it's a wash with Q off of the 2nd power play unit and on the 1st, but we'll see what Jim Hiller decides to do. I would love to see him stick with the 5-forward number 1 power play unit again until you see a real reason to not use it anymore. So far, it's been pretty effective. If you want some more numbers, I have them. The Kings, again, 46-24-9 going into this matchup. The Oilers are 47-28-5. Kings are 2nd in the Pacific, 4th in the Western Conference, and 6th in the NHL. Oilers are 3rd in the Pacific, 6th in the West, and 10th in the NHL. The Kings are ranked 15th in average goals scored per game, 3.00. The Oilers are 11th at 3.20. Kings are 2nd in the NHL in average goals allowed per game, 2.44. The Oilers are 16th, allowing 2.88 goals per game. The power play overall in the season, Kings are 28th, 17.1%. The Oilers power play, I mentioned, 9th at 24.6%, but the Kings power play much better since the deadline. Kings penalty kill 5th in the NHL at 81.5%. The Oilers are 16th, 78.1%. Again, Kings and Oilers have met 3 times so far this season. Game 1 was December the 28th. The Kings win it 4-3 in LA in overtime. Quinton Byfield with the OT game winner. Game number 2 between the 2 teams, January 13th in Edmonton. Oilers win 1-0. Darcy Kemper allowed 1 goal on 29 shots. And then game 3, April 5th in LA, Kings win 3-0. Darcy Kemper had 27 saves in the shutout. No Leon Draisaitl or Connor McDavid in that matchup. And that brings us to game number 4 coming up tonight. All right, we are going to update you on what's going on with some Kings prospects. That is next here on Locked On LA Kings, your team every day. Looking for a snack that is both delicious and nutritious? Then you need to crack into a good source of protein with wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you feel fuller longer. It's the perfect grab-and-go snack for busy days, whether you're snacking at your desk or on a road trip or just need a quick protein boost. And if you're looking to crack open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein, providing all 9 essential amino acids. Whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Did want to get you updated on the prospects for the LA Kings that are playing postseason hockey, or in the case of some Ontario Reign players, winding up the regular season. But let's check on the Ontario Hockey League playoffs, and in particular, the Kings' number one skating prospect, and that is Liam Greentree. I would say overall prospect, but the way the Kings' two goalie prospects have been playing of late, Carter George and Hampton Tlukinski, they're right there in the running. But anyway, Liam Greentree and his Windsor Spitfires have moved into the second round of the OHL playoffs, and they're facing the Kitchener Rangers, who they lead 2-0. Their last win over the weekend was a 5-1 victory, and Liam Greentree only had one goal in that win. 11 playoff games so far this postseason, and the Kings' first-round pick from this past year has 9 goals and 9 assists for 18 points. He is currently third in playoff scoring league-wide in the postseason and tied for second in goals. Game 3 of that series is coming up tonight. Sorry, needed to take a drink there. For those of you watching on YouTube, you got to see that. Lucky you. The London Knights and the Kings' defensive prospect, Jared Woolley, also have a 2-0 lead in their series against the Erie Otters. Their last win was over the weekend, a 7-2 victory. No points for Jared Woolley in that one. So far, the 6th-round pick of the Kings in 2024 has 1 goal and 2 assists for 3 points in the postseason. And Game 3 of their series is coming up tonight as well. A recent Kings prospect playing in juniors is now joining the Ontario Reign. Forward Cohen Ziemer, who is playing in the Western Hockey League for the Prince George Cougars, has joined the Ontario Reign. 71 points, 37 goals, 34 assists this season in junior hockey. We will see if he plays in the Reign's next game on Wednesday. I would expect that he would. And if we have time, we'll certainly update you on that, or at least update how he does at some point this week. That is a home game for the Ontario Reign. And for those of you that might be interested, I did want to throw this out there. Colorado Avalanche captain Gabriel Landeskog is trying to make a comeback from a serious knee injury. He hasn't played hockey in 3 years. No player has ever come back from the knee injury that he has had in hockey. And he's playing for the Colorado Eagles. That's the team that will be in Ontario against the Reign on Wednesday. I don't know if he's going on the road with the team. He played in their last couple of home games over the weekend. But you might want to check it out. Might want to Google it to see if he's traveling with the team. And if he is, you could go see a legitimate NHL star and a big story in the NHL with Gabriel Landeskog. As for the Ontario Reign, they have 3 more games left before they start the AHL playoffs. By the way, the Reign did win. We mentioned this because of Carter George. They won 4-0 over the San Jose Barracuda over the weekend. Carter George had the 33-save shutout in his Reign debut. Completely overshadowed, and understandably so, was the Reign debut of the Kings' top European prospect, defenseman Otto Salin. He played in that game as well. Now, he didn't have any points, but made his debut, getting a taste of North American professional hockey for the first time. He's a former 5th-round pick of the Kings in 2022, so we will definitely keep an eye on Otto Salin, the defenseman, now with the Ontario Reign as well. All right, Kings Oilers coming up tonight, 7 p.m. LA time. You can watch it locally on the FanDuel Sports Network. Nationally, it is on the NHL Network, so it's not an ESPN Plus game. I also see that it's a prime Monday night hockey in Canada game as well, so any of our friends north of the border can check out that game on Prime. And, of course, you can listen to the game on the 710 ESPN app. And the game is also locally going to be at Cosm tonight. If you don't know what that is, I've mentioned it before. It's a sports bar theater experience in Inglewood. It's right next to SoFi Stadium. If anyone goes, I'd love to know what it was like. I think I heard Mikey Alexander, the in-arena host, one of the hosts, say that he was going to be out there. I may have to ask him what it was like. I've been there for a football game. I thought it was awesome. I'd love to know what it's like for a hockey game. So if anybody goes, let me know. For you everydayers, those of you that listen and watch Locked On Kings every day, coming up on our next show, a full recap of Kings Oilers. It will be recorded shortly after the game is played late Monday night, so it'll be there for you Tuesday morning, or if you're a night owl, it'll be there for you very late Monday or early Tuesday. But that will be our Tuesday show, a recap of Kings Oilers, and hopefully we're talking about how the Kings have wrapped up home ice advantage with a victory. If you want to stay connected with the show, you can send an email at any time for any reason, lockedoneddie@gmail.com. You can always post your thoughts if you're watching on YouTube in the comments section. We appreciate that. And we'd love for you to stay connected with the show through social media, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are at Locked On LA Kings. I'm Eddie Garcia. Thank you for listening and watching this episode of Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Have a great rest of your day. We will talk to you on our next show. And as always, go Kings, go.